Hi, so we're here in Schweinfurt, Germany, SRAM HQ, with Stu, who's going to tell us all about the SRAM 7090 Eagle transmission drivetrain. Now, I'm fortunate enough to have a little go of this drivetrain, and what impressed me is just how well it shifts under drive. For a mechanical drivetrain, it shifted impeccably under load.
Yeah, I mean, that was a key part of the development process that we went through with the original launch of our Eagle transmission. For us, that shifting under load was something we were seeing obviously a lot in the mountain bike market. So we wanted to build a system that was primarily able to shift under any load. So no matter what state you're in, you could be pushing maximum force through the pedals, maximum motor effort, and still be able to make those gear shifts. So that was a key driving force in the development of this product from the ground up. When we launched the Axis version, and now we're launching the mechanical shifting version, all those benefits that we built into the Axis Eagle transmission come over to this mechanical version. Obviously, without the additional premium cost, let's say, of wireless shifting. So
I was impressed at how similar the two were, from the wireless transmission to now the mechanical transmission. Very similar. And another thing which carries over, of course, is the robustness of the whole system.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, that was paramount to that development of the Axis Eagle transmission, was that we wanted to create a system that was so durable in terms of hardy to that trail use. And for that, a big part of that was the development of the full mount derailleur. Obviously UDH was the first part to that process, getting all of the brands fully on board with our UDH system, and then that enabled us some years on, once the market had accepted that technology, to then move into the full mount derailleur. And what the full mount derailleur brings is just a completely new world in terms of how that mech is attached to the bike, which means it can be a lot stiffer, a lot stronger, and any load that is applied to that derailleur in a crash situation, for example, it's not bending a derailleur hanger in the traditional sense that we know. Obviously, we don't have a hanger at all on this, but it's transferring that load directly into the through axle, actually. So in terms of protecting your frame, it's incredibly robust in that sense. But another part to that robustness story, which I really like, is the fact that those derailleurs are now completely rebuildable. So wherever you sit on the spectrum now, whether it's Eagle 70, 90 or any of the Axis transmission mechs, they come apart effectively. They're like little Meccano sets. You can just rebuild everything. So if you are unfortunate enough to damage something in a crash, it means that you're not then throwing that entire derailleur in the skip, starting again with a new one. You can actually just replace the parts that are broken or needed. So not only is that great from a crash repair scenario, it's also great from a wear and tear. So you can actually just replace the bits that are worn or starting to show wear over time. So I really like that side to the new technology that we're launching.
So it's more sustainable generally, as well as being
100%,
more economical and stronger and tougher.
Yeah,
and we were here earlier, and we actually rebuilt an entire mech just from the parts, and these parts are available, so it's something you could do.
Yeah, it's really nice actually. We actually invite riders to come and do that if we're at an event. We often have a derailleur there which we lay out in spare parts, and we invite people to just time themselves almost, and it literally is a couple of minutes to rebuild a mech from all of its integral parts to a working derailleur. So it's quite cool. Like I said, I really like that aspect to the new drivetrain.
Yes, yeah. So whether we're replacing a part that's broken or we're fitting an entire new drivetrain, the setup process is actually pretty simple. It's quite different from a standard mechanical, but it's pretty easy, isn't it?
Yeah, again, that was something else we worked on a lot when we launched the original Axis T-type transmission, that we wanted that setup process to be as straightforward as possible. Obviously, it was new technology, it's stuff that mechanics had never seen before. So there are some different processes, and it is important to adhere to those different steps. But I would say, as you pointed out, the steps are super easy. There's basically a 3-part process to fitting the drivetrain. From our side, it's very straightforward steps. So you prepare the bike, you hang the parts, and you tighten the parts. And we can delve into the individual parts of that a bit deeper, but essentially that is a simple 3-step process. So one of the other nice aspects that really simplifies the setup procedure is, in the past there were all these adjustment screws on the derailleur. We had the high and low screws, we had the B-gap screw. So a key benefit to the full mounting system is it eliminates all of that. So that kind of dark art, as we used to think of it for the mechanics.
The old B tension screw.
Twiddling those screws, like what's he doing? Does he know how to adjust that derailleur? Like, that's gone. We've got full control over where that derailleur sits in relation to the cassette sprockets because of the full mount system. We're effectively bolting the derailleur to the end of the cassette body. So we know where that sits in relation to each one of those cassette sprockets. So the setup procedure is kind of already done. So you can literally take that derailleur straight out of the box. It can be bolted on the bike and bar maybe a tiny tweak on the micro adjust, it's going to work straight out of the box. So there is no black magic to set up. There is no screws to felt with. So again, the ease of setup is there, built in the design.
So looking at this derailleur, there's no B tension screw, there's no limit screws, there's no setup screw apart from we've got the button to open the cage, and that's it, really, isn't it? Any micro adjust is done from the shifter. And all of these little tiny bolts you might see on here, that's in order to replace the part. There's nothing here for adjustment.
Absolutely. If you're putting an Allen key onto that derailleur, it's not to adjust the derailleur, it's there to, you're going to be switching out one of the skid plates or one of the other parts. So adjustment is kind of now a thing of the past, relatively. Yes, as I said, you might have the need in some instances just to make a very fine adjust.
The cable stretches.
So then you still have a barrel adjuster at the shifter point where you can make that tiny fine tune. And on the Axis version, again, you can do that electronically through the shift button.
And of course, all of this information, all the information you need for your bike, for the setup, that's all contained within the SRAM app.
Absolutely. The Axis app will have a lot of information stored within it. It makes that a very much user-friendly system, and we're developing and upgrading the app all the time. So you basically log your components, you set that bike up within your sort of garage, we call it, within the app. And there's a really simple way to find all the information you need.
Okay, so that's the Eagle 1790 drivetrain, but there's another little cool feature you're introducing now as well.
The dropper lever. This is something which it's a small part of the group set, but I think it's a really nice touch.
So there's the dropper lever.
So this is just an additional thought, which I think just shows a nice way of thinking how the rider's experience of this product is, right? So when you're looking down at your handlebars, you've got this new shift lever here, but if you're using a third-party dropper post, then quite often you use all kinds of weird and wonderful dropper levers, depending on the brand of post. For me, that means that your cockpit doesn't look consistent, right? You haven't got that nice symmetry, let's call it, left to right. So if you're fussy about how your bike looks, like I am, then I like the fact that this is an added part to this product offering. So it's a dropper post lever, which is compatible with almost every mechanical dropper post in the market because it's just a simple cable pull lever.
Clamps at the lever there.
So it's still with our Matchmaker clamp system. So super neat, attaches directly to a SRAM brake lever via the MMX mount. And it just means that when you connect that to your dropper post, you're going to have that consistency and symmetry on your bar setup. So I like that. It's a small addition, but I think it's a nice one. So the other nice feature with this lever that I like, aside from the aesthetic, is the fact that it's designed for the cable exit to be very clean and close to the handlebar. So you may recall when we launched Stealth brakes, our Stealth brakes were all about getting the brake hose to come out of the lever in a neat line, sort of hidden, again, going back to that rider experience. When you're looking down at your cockpit from up here, you don't see that kind of bird's nest of cables out the front. And so we're very aware that with the Eagle 1790, we're adding back in a shift cable now. And also we've got a mechanical dropper post cable. So we wanted a way to clean that up. So this is very much designed, as is the shifter, to have cable exit points such that the outer hose is then fed in a way that it stays very clean and close to the bar. We also supplied with the dropper lever and the shift lever these little clips, which mean that you can also just neatly clip the two cables together so that it pulls together in a neat line, which as the rider, when you look down, they're going to be neatly hidden almost behind the bar in terms of the rider eye view. Again, that was another part of the development of this, was just to keep that cockpit clean.
We can see that on the bike we've got set up here, haven't we? That even though there's 4 cables there, that it isn't sticking out the front, whereas other dropper post levers, you'll have that outward path, haven't you? So,
so hopefully, we've covered all bases with the development of this product.
Okay, so there we have it, the Eagle 1790, and we have a setup video to show you just how easy it is to set up one of these, to put it on your bike. So check that link in the description, and remember to like and subscribe for some more SRAM content from Tredz.